Okay, so we're on day 22 of 27 walking the hexatetraglyph. I'm Colin, and this oracle board in front of me is sort of like a map of the I Ching. It takes 27 days to journey from the center out to one of 64 potential endpoints. Each endpoint is a hexagram of the I Ching. In the process, you complete 6 pathways, and depending on the direction that you complete the pathway, it gives you a yin or a yang line. So for instance, we've moved down on the first pathway, which means we moved in the yin direction. So our first line of our hexagram is going to be yin. Then we moved left and completed the pathway that way. Left is also yin, so we're going to have line 2 of our hexagram also being yin. Then we moved up on the third pathway, which gave us a yang line. So when you move up or right, you get yang lines. And when you move down or left, you get yin lines. So we moved down, left, up, which gives us the hexagram of mountain. So we have mountain, we know, for our lower or inner trigram. From there, we're on the 4th pathway now. On day 22, that puts us on position V. So each day we work with astrology. That gives us a topic to write in our journal, to create a tarot card spread. Basically, it just gives us a topic, a theme, or a question for the day. And then we use tarot cards. We draw 3 tarot cards and try to kind of answer that question, explore the topic with those cards. We do that for the first 26 days. 26 times 3 is 78. So there's 78 cards in a deck. We use every card in the deck. It makes it sort of like an inner initiation. The tarot is like a journey through all of the archetypes. And on top of that, you work with the astrological signs and planets. So you do that in preparation to get to an endpoint. On day 27, you get a hexagram from the I Ching, and that kind of summarizes the whole journey. It gives you the final say. So it's like a pilgrimage. You're journeying, you're working so hard for about a month. 27 days is the amount of time it takes for the moon to travel through the whole zodiac, 27.3 days. So you're doing that for a whole month, and then finally you reach an endpoint, and the I Ching is like that wise sage that analyzes your whole journey and says, okay, this is what you really need to know. Astrology and the tarot gets you ready for that moment. If you're interested in learning more, you can go back at the beginning of this series and I cover more of the basics. And when this is all done, I'm going to make some videos that, explain what I've learned and maybe some different modifications, some different ways to use the hexatetraglyph. I've come up with different ideas in the process. This is an experiment. This is a case study. Thanks for anyone who's joining me in this process. I'd love to hear feedback. I'd like to know what your experience has been like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 planets. Just randomly select 2 out of a little bowl I have sitting here, and then we're going to select one of those to work with for today. Okay, so I have, that's Saturn and the Sun. So Saturn is in Aries right now. That's fairly yang, right? And then the Sun is in Virgo, which is fairly yang. I think I'll say that the Sun is more yang than Saturn right now. That's just a subjective decision. So that means I place the Sun on the right side, the right V position, and Saturn on the left V position of pathway 4, because that's the pathway we're on. Almost finished with pathway 4. I haven't worked with Saturn very much yet. So I think I will go ahead and choose Saturn to work with today. I'm trying to keep this kind of fast and concise. I'd like to just use my intuition and be kind of speedy with this. I actually know how pathway 4 is going to end up. So I can just experiment here a little bit. And if you want to take, a moment and pause it and think about what your topic is, that's fine if you're following what I'm doing here. But I'm going to just try to make sense of this using my intuition, and I just want to see like a story in my mind. So I'm thinking about Saturn as slow and steady. I can picture the dark planet out there far off in the solar system just creeping along, and then all of a sudden here's Aries. And everything is trying to distract. It's like the way I'm picturing Aries is like there's a million projects that you could do, things you could get started into, distractions, pulling your attention away, trying to get you wound up, trying to make your adrenaline go, trying to get you excited. And Saturn is right in the middle of that constellation, just creeping along, trying to stay steady, doing what it does. And it just reminds me of it reminds me of driving to the grocery store yesterday. And, I live in kind of a big city, and I was just trying to drive slow in my old grandpa truck, and people were just flying by me. I actually wasn't even driving that slow, but I'm like, man, why is everyone in such a hurry here? And it's kind of like that when you're online too. It's you get on a blog to try to read. Like yesterday I was on a blog reading about some stuff about the I Ching, and I was getting hit with all these pop-up ads, and I was like, okay, I'm getting off of that website. That's not going to work for me. Everybody's trying to get my attention. They're trying to draw my attention away from what I'm trying to focus on. And I've experienced a lot of that in the last couple years. I mean, for one, I bought a little German Shepherd puppy and a little working breed dog. I had no idea what a challenge that was going to be. She's adorable. I love her to death. But that first year of her life, I had to put down all the books I was reading. I haven't picked them back up, and it's been quite frustrating because I was enjoying getting deep into these books I was studying. And then suddenly I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I have like a bunch of half-read books sitting on my bookshelf. I had almost like a little curriculum of books I was reading, and I just said, I can't keep up with that. So that's what comes to my mind, is just Saturn trying to take things slowly in a world full of distractions. And it reminds me of how I felt. And I'm in a time in my life right now where I would like to be able to really just get deep into my interests and make some headway with the things I'm interested in, with the things I'd like to learn, with the things I'd like to build and improve on. And there's too much to really even explain, but I just feel like that'd be healthy for me. I don't want to have that TikTok brain where it's just, everything is real fast and coming at you constantly. All right, so if you want to hit pause for a moment and think about Saturn and Aries, we've covered it before. And then we're going to draw 3 cards and just see if they can help us deal with whatever the question is you might have, or this one that I have. All right, so here comes card 1. Queen of Pentacles. That seems like a card that has a lot of stillness in it, doesn't it? Very patient and calming and mature. And and it's patient. There is this little rabbit down here, though. There is a little bunny rabbit down there. That doesn't seem quite as calm as the rest of the scene. But anyways, oh, okay, I don't do reversals, so not this time. Maybe there could be some things with reversals in an add-on or a different way of using the board, slight modification. But right now, I'm not using reversals. If I see negative in the card, that's fine. It's not all positive. In fact, this has been quite the underworld journey for me. This is real practical use that I'm getting out of this. So the King of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles, look at that contrast. A lot of creativity happening there, right? With my understanding of it, I see the fire and the earth in the whooshing of 5 phases, 5 elements. It's like fire generates earth. Fire enriches the earth. That's what's showing through for me here. Even though these are Western cards, the fact that we are kind of using I Ching here as well, and alchemical ideas, that comes to mind. And there's obviously alchemy in this card with those salamanders. But there's a cycle there. I see a cycle already unfolding, a generative cycle. What does that have to do with Saturn being in Aries? I don't know. Earth and fire. I think that there's something there too about Saturn and that process, that alchemical process. But we'll pull another card and see if something starts to become more clear here. Okay, the 8 of Pentacles. That's really nice, right? Now there's something being generated. There's definitely a whole process happening here. A flow state. And I'm noticing, you got 8 pentacles over here and 1 over here. That's 9 pentacles total. And you have this really motherly figure, 9 months of gestation, giving birth to something. Is I need to keep my passion. I need to keep being interested. I need to keep working to bring this thing to life, to bring something into the world. And I have my ideas about what that is. My philosophy, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still trying to create the right conditions and build the right environment. I'm trying to create a routine where I can focus on small details, and I'm trying to create the right environment. I mean, these are images for me to write about and ponder on today, to help me create that right routine and environment and conditions so that I can get into my work. I mean, once again, these are just absolutely the most fitting, interesting set of cards, I think, for the question. And it's really interesting because I just shuffled these cards one time and just laid them down. We've already been through all of these and all of these over here. This is what I have left. And day after day, I get these sets of cards that feel like a synchronicity. So if you've been following along, let me know if you've noticed that as well. Because I'd hoped that this hexatetraglyph would set things up so that you would be able to see synchronicity in real time, And if you're using it, let me know if you're getting that same experience. Let me know, do you pick your planet find out what the sign is, think about it a little bit, lay the cards out, and go, wow, those actually really fit together nicely. Because day after day I have, and I find it interesting that I've moved into the mountain portion of the board. And I don't know which of these 4 hexagrams I'm going to get. I know I'm going to finish over here because these are another day of yin cards. These cards are going to go down to the bottom left. So there's no way that I'm going to move over here. And I may introduce some things into this gameplay where it's a little less predictable in these situations. I don't know. I mean, there's things you can do. There's ways to change the gameplay just a little bit to make it more unpredictable, but I like how it's going. I feel that this is a fitting area for me. I'm interested to find out how this ends. Thanks for joining me again. I'd love to hear feedback, your experiences, if this is helpful to you. I think it's the kind of thing, is what I'm starting to realize right now, is this is probably, as a rite of passage, as an initiation in a sacred space, this is probably the kind of thing where you finish it and you go, did that work? What did that do for me? And 3 months later, you're going, wow, that actually has impacted my life. I think I've changed. I think I've transformed in some way. And if it really truly is transformative and alchemical, then the good thing is it's long lasting. And that fits with Saturn, all right, which is our planet for the day. So with that, we'll wrap it up. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.